guys, welcome back. Terry from Smooth's Workshop here. I'm trying to keep these into little bite-sized portions rather than doing 1 hour videos. So we are back onto the Revell Star Wars X-Wing in 1:1:2 scale, where I try to cram LEDs and all sorts of crazy lighting into a tiny little model kit. And this is an update from the last one and where I've got to now. It's a short video, not a lot in it possibly, but it's showing where I'm going from rather than doing an hour's video at a time. And so without further ado, let's go on and watch the video. See you shortly. Hey guys, welcome back. Right, we're on to build video number 5 of my Revell X-Wing, the nice and easy level 3 1:1:2 kit of the Star Wars X-Wing fighter. Now, since the last video, I have done a little bit. I have sprayed the next coat of the Steiner Res primer on the engine pods, and as I thought, using the wet Q-tip or cotton bud method, I have managed to fill the seam gaps and it looks lovely with the paint on. So I just have to do a light test on those, and I will show you me doing a light test on those to see if there's any light leakage. Basically because I want the thrusters to be flashing backwards like this and not coming out the sides and everything like that. So whilst I was waiting on that drying, so I went to the spray booth and I sprayed both of these wings with the, I'll just get out here, the Ultimate Primer in the black, same as the Steiner Res, angling it so that I didn't spray into the LEDs. So I was waiting on those drying. I thought I would get on with my pilot figure. Now, I had to do this in my Optivisor. I'm not the best of figure painters. So let's just see if I can actually bring this camera in and let you see any of this. So I'll move him up to the middle and bring it in and bring it in and bring it in and bring it in. Oh, still got light in it. So hopefully you can make out here. Now, bearing in mind I can't zoom this in, so I'm going to bring the guy up close to you. Let's see if we can get this into focus. So there's a little guy there. I started off with priming him in white, and then I went over with the orange, and then I painted his little black boots. I did his white sort of what I would call as a lifesaver. It's not a lifesaver, I did it on the back as well, even though that isn't going to be seen because he's going to be sitting down in his seat. Let's see if we can get it back into focus. And I did his helmet. Okay. Generally when you're painting these, you want to go to the lighter colours to the darker colours after that. So from the light white, I went on to the grey, which was his gloves, and the little thing in the middle is, I don't know, his thing on his chest. Okay. And obviously his boots in black. Because they were at the bottom, I just did those anyway. I did his face in a flesh tone, and his visor's supposed to be yellow, but I did it in Tamiya clear orange. So as far as the little pilot figure goes, he's finished. I need to do a clear coat on him. The only reason I need to do a clear coat is there's a small decal. Oh, he's went out of focus because my hand's not there. He's still drying. I need to do a small decal which has a couple of red lines in that on his helmet. And I'm not sure how much of that you will see actually when he's sitting in the ship. So it's more of a I know it's there kind of thing. There's probably no sense in to go into all this detail. But yeah, so I've done the little guy, and I've done flesh tones on his face and his visor and his gloves and his boots and all that kind of thing. And got a couple of decals to put on. So I'm going to clear coat him first. Now, rather than going through the whole process of firing up my airbrush with a nice clear coat, I'm just going to brush paint a clear coat over him, do the decals, and then matte coat him. Okay, so I'm going to just go a little bit into detail on what paints I used on him. So I primed his body first of all in the white Ultimate Primer. Okay. I then sprayed him with a coat of Tamiya White X2. For the orange, I used Mr. Hobby Colour Aqueous H24 Orange Yellow. Now, Tamiya don't do a matte orange, and it seems neither do Aqueous Hobby Colour. So his body is looking like really glossy orange, and I don't want it glossy orange, but I can use a matte coat to take that down. I went with this because I can thin it with water. So applied several thin coats, very, very watered down. Thin coat, didn't get total coverage, let it dry. Thin coat, didn't get total coverage, let it dry. And just built up the layers, thinning this with water. If you do that with the Tamiya, you don't get the same effect. So I did the orange and everything. For his boots, I used Mr. Hobby Colour Aqueous H12 Flat Black. Okay, again, it doesn't dry flat black, it's a semi-gloss black. So that's his boots. For the grey on his pack and his gloves, I used Tamiya XF 66 light grey. Okay, so I detail painted that on. I did have to use my Optivisor. For his little mask above his eyes, that was supposed to be in the yellow, I just did it with Tamiya X26 Clear Orange, but I thinned it quite heavily with X28 thinner. Okay, and for his face, I have got a set of flesh tones here. Right, I'll just move this out of shot just now. Set of flesh tones by Life Colour. And they give you all the various ones, more for darker skin. I start with a flesh shadow, and then a shadow, and then a base, and then you go into lighter base and work your way up. To be honest, at this scale, you're not going to notice flesh tones, and he's sitting in a cockpit, and I'm going to be lighting it up blue, so I just went with the UA 709 Flesh First Base for his face. So he's going to be sitting now, drying off. I've not long painted him, waiting on a gloss coat. Now, I could use, where have I got it? Alclad 2 Aqua Gloss to do that. But as I'm just brush painting them, and a lot of you guys are going to scream because it's for your floors. Yeah, it's pledged 2 times more shine. Pledged multi-surface wax. You put it on a brush and it self-levels fine, and it's just a small character, so it's going to give me the protection that I need before I go on to the decals on the little guy. So that's him done. Pilot's done. I'm just looking to see where I've put it. Hiding stuff from myself now. Paints. Right, Cockpit was done again in XF66 light grey. Now, you'll remember me doing it in the Steino Res or UMP black primer beforehand for light blocking, because I'm going to have a light pointing up. There's a little hole at the bottom here. It goes, this is quite hard to do, right? Goes up like this, okay? So the pilot's sitting in here. So my LED light is going to be shining up from this direction. So I'm hoping it catches his face and all that when he's sitting in the cockpit. So I've just went over that with XF66 light grey, and in the seat, now this is a hard bit to pick up, his seat I have just picked up again with Mr. Hobby Colour Aqueous H12, just a black seat, and I've picked that up. So that's what the pilot's going to sit into. Just as another note, the inside of the cockpit I have also sprayed with XF66 all in here. Yeah, I've also went over the dashboard area and around the inside edge of the cockpit, the same colour. And I also just did a quick blast down here. I will mask it off and do it properly, but it's just to give some shading. I've looked at the detail painting for it, and it shows this section of the cockpit in black. So if I'm going to do that, I'm not going to bother masking it off. I'll just do that by brush. But at the moment, I've just done it, and I've dry brushed the dials and everything with the black at the moment. As I say, it's a work in progress. So that's a pilot almost done. There's an R2 droid unit, and I'll just pull him up, get him into focus. So what I did with him is, again, I've went over his body with the Ultimate Primer in the white, and then I have done the bottom half of him in Tamiya White X2, which is a gloss. He'll need another coat, but you're only going to see him for the shoulders down, and then his little chrome dome on the top. I'm going to do a metallic colour. I'm probably going to do that with a lacquer paint though. So as far as that goes, that's the little figures taken care of. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a light leakage test on these wings before I go into the white. And the reason being, I only want the light coming out the back. I don't want it coming out the sides. So if you've been following this, and I'm just trying to see where I put it, I have a breadboard. Now a breadboard, somebody has asked for me to go into more detail on breadboards. I will do it at some point. It will probably be on my Patreon channel though. This is a breadboard. And a breadboard is a series of connectors where the red line and the black line are all connected all along this line on both sides. And the middle is a divide. Okay, so nothing's connected from this side to that side unless you put wires across, jumper wires, which I've done. And all these columns, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each column, are all connected vertically. So anything I put in that column is connected to everything else in that column. Anything I put in that column is connected vertically in that column, and so on, and so on, and so on. So the basic circuit I have got is, right, and I've labelled them red and red 2 and all that. Right, basically the red is my engines. So I've got one bank of 2 and another bank of 2, and I have a blue one here for my cockpit light, which if I turn that on, there you go, there's a blue cockpit light. Okay. There is, with LEDs, because on this instance I'm using a 9-volt power supply, and the red LEDs that I'm going to be using for the engine thrusters run at 3 to 3.3 volts each. So say they're 3 volts each, so 3 and 3 is 6. I have 3 volts to get rid of, or I'm going to blow these. So from memory, don't quote me, it's around about 150 ohm resistor. What this does is the 150 ohm resistor gets rid of the extra 3 volts. They do heat up, but it takes it down to the 6 volts, and the current rating for my LEDs, which are 20 milliamps each, so 2 in series on this one is 40 milliamps, and the resistor takes the 9 volts, sorry for confusing you, the resistor takes the 9 volts down to 6 and the correct amount of current to drive 2 red LEDs. And the same with this one. This blue one, I can't remember what the resistance is on that. Say, I think it's around about 300 ohms. It's quite easy to work out. There's charts now out there. This blue LED also works around about 3 volts, but then I've got 6 volts to get rid of, and it just happens to be double what these are. Okay, so so this is my breadboard. So I've got it wired up so that I'll connect the negative leg of my LED bank in along with this resistor, through the resistor, through the black wire to earth. And the live feed will go in at the other side, and this will allow me to power up said light. So I'm just going to take a crocodile clip off this one. So the live feed for this one is this little short wire, and the negative feed is this brown wire on this bank. So just forgive me while I'm twisting stuff about, but the negative lead will go into the resistor on this one. So that's that plugged in. And the live, I am just going to put on the live bus. Now, it's quite hard because I've got the pylons on that I didn't have on before. So I'm going to take the live feed from this one. Let's move it into shot. And just connect it to the live on this side. So, in theory, if that's all connected up correctly, when I flick this switch, these two LEDs should come on and they will flicker like engines. Okay, what you're doing, this blue one's probably distracting, so I'm going to pull this out. There we go, blue one's away. So what I'm looking at here is along the sides, but there's no light leakage along this side. And just spinning it around, they're still flashing. There's no, oh, I've just pulled my negative out. Just give me a second, I'll pop that back in. There's no light leakage down that side, there's no light leakage down that side, and there's no light leakage down that side, and both LEDs are working. So for this wing, the test is complete, and I'm happy that that is now ready for the next coat of paint, which is the white. So I'll go and do the same with this one, and I'll take it off the crocodile clip. Let's move this into shot. So the green on this one, the other one's brown. It's just so I can identify which is a paired wing set, because these resistors, because there's no room to put them in the actual craft itself, I will put them in the base. So I'll put this green one in along in line of the 5, so and the 6, so that's on the same line as the resistor going to earth, and I shall put the live into the live section, and we have two, oh, it's just come out again because it's quite tight with these pylons on. We have two red LEDs there, and all I'm basically want to check is, again, along the sides of here, there's no light leakage there, there's no light leakage there, there's no light leakage there. So I'm happy to go on with the white top coat now. So as far as I'm concerned, both sets of wings are lighting up properly, and when they're in their X bank formation, we will have 4 red LEDs showing thrust with nothing leaking out any of the sides. So that's that bit. Yay! So yeah, so again, another wee short one. I'm off now to spray the white coat on these wings, and let them dry. And the next one will come back. It will be detail painting on the wings and other bits and bobs. So that's it for now. So Terry from Smoosh Workshop. See you in a bit. Bye. Well guys, that's this little short section done. Hopefully the next ones are going to be a little bit more detail about the painting and stuff. I've got all the light leakage sorted out. I'm going to do a little bit of going on more with the base coat and everything on the wings and everything like that. And I know the lights are working, so it's more about painting the wings, adding the detail, seeing how far I get. I'm trying to keep these to small, sort of bite-sized 20-minute things, rather than my usual 1 hour long sessions where a lot of people sort of tune out. So I hope you're enjoying these. If you are, comment in the section below. Do subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Happy modelling.